Hey YouTube fam, it's your girl Leah back again with another video, and today's video is a little different, or I'd say a lot different from my channel. Today's video I'm going to just be listing my top 5 beginner friendly houseplants. Now I know I don't make houseplant or plant related content on my channel, but a little known fact about me, if you guys don't follow me on Instagram at LeahLavon89, is that I have a lot of houseplants. I am houseplant obsessed, and I like to think of myself as a connoisseur of houseplants. I know a little something about houseplants, and with spring upon us, a lot of people are starting to become more into outdoor and indoor plants this season. I was just in Walmart yesterday seeing a woman buy up all the aloe vera that Walmart had to offer, and I was like, I see a lot of people this season getting into houseplants, and I see a lot of you guys out there on social media asking me questions on Instagram. I'll be showing you some part of my house and you'll see plants and you'll ask, what plant is that and where did you get the planter? And so today's video, I decided to make a video for you guys out there who might be indoor plant, a little bit challenged. We all are. I, in my day, have killed some plants myself, but the plants that I'm going to list today are going to be my hard to kill. Not going to say impossible, because pothos are supposed to be hard to kill plants, but for me, somehow, I messed up a pothos or two in my day. But today's plants are going to be the indestructible plants, the plants that I think it's going to be very tough to kill. Now, I want to preface this video by saying, to me, houseplants aren't decoration. If you're looking for something decoration, get an artificial plant, because houseplants are real. They're living. They need water. They need sun. They need the right humidity. They need the right conditions and all that. So they are cute and they're nice to have in your home, and they bring a little bit of extra vibe to your home. But if you're somebody who just is about the cuteness of it and doesn't really care about the fact that it is not a being, but it is a kind of life, definitely go the artificial route. But the first plant that I'm going to list today is going to be a plant that you will not, I promise you, you will not be able to kill. You guys know with anything, I'm bad at mispronouncing things, so I'm going to use all the common names for all the houseplants I'm going to be talking about today, and I might list on the screen what their accurate or Latin name is. But the first plant I'm going to talk about is a snake plant. Now, it is probably the plant I have in the most abundance. I have this one right here, which was the first snake plant that I ever bought. I got it from a big box store, which is Lowe's. All my planters are pretty much from Amazon, so I'll try to list where I got them from down below, but this is from Amazon. This is another snake plant. They come in so many different varieties, but another snake plant that I have. And then my most proud snake plant is this bad boy right here, and this bad boy right here is actually in my bathroom, which is no lights. I will show you right now what this plant sees a majority of the day. This is what this plant is living in, a total darkness. I don't leave my lights on. My light is only on when in the morning, when I'm kind of brushing my teeth, doing my shower and all that, and then at night when I'm doing my nighttime routine, turning it on down for the night. This plant, I will insert a picture right now of what it started out. It was just 3 leaves. It was this leaf, and this leaf. And now it has grown into something, more magical, and it continues to grow. If you see some of the plants in the back, this plant is awesome and is growing in a low light condition. If you're somebody who lives in an apartment that doesn't get a lot of light, my apartment luckily gets a lot of light. If you guys notice, I don't film with a lighting structure, so right now what is lighting me is the sun. But my bathroom and some of the other side of my apartment doesn't really get a lot of light. Snake plants will grow in your low light conditions. Snake plants only need watering once every 3 weeks, but this plant doesn't take a lot and it grows. You'll be hard pressed to kill a snake plant. I actually have 2 of these in my office as well. So I have a normal snake plant in my office, another one that kind of looks like this. I got this from Lowe's. It's from Lowe's, I think, in the office collection. So houseplants made for office settings. And the other snake plant in my office isn't actually growing as fast as this one does. And I think my office would be lit more than, my bathroom is. I'm in my office, 40 hours a week, 40 plus hours a week. Plus, I don't think they turn off the overhead lights that often on the weekend. So it sees a lot of light, and this one is growing way better. So in total I have about 5 snake plants. But yes, if you're a beginner and you're looking for something that you can have and you're low light, and you're looking for something you don't have to water often, you're looking for something that you don't have to feed often, you don't have to fertilize it often, and it'll just grow and show you so much love, get you a snake plant. They are awesome. The next easy to grow, hard to kill plant is this ZZ plant. Now I have 3 ZZs. So this is a regular ZZ plant, and this is a rave Raven ZZ. So it's a black kind of, some of the black is coming in if you guys can see. It's a black ZZ. I like it. I think the Morticia Adams, Wednesday Adams family vibe of me loves a black plant. So seeing a black ZZ, love it. I ordered this from Etsy. I get a majority of my houseplants from either a big box store like Lowe's, either a nursery. So locally in Charlotte, we have a nursery called Pike's Nursery. Get them from there. Or if it's a rare plant, I like to get it from Etsy. Etsy is kind of affordable, I say, in my book. It wasn't that expensive to get these because I know these ZZ blacks can run you a little bit more money. But the ZZ Raven, love it, this plant. And again, my third is a regular ZZ. Hard to kill. If you're ever in a mall setting, you'll see a lot of these. At the mall, you'll see a lot of pothos. I see some Hoyas. In office setting buildings, you'll see a lot of ZZs. There's a lady who comes by our office and kind of waters our plants for us. You'll see some Dracaenias, you'll see some ZZs, you'll see some pothos, some Hoyas, some philodendrons, a little bit in our office. But as you can see, I had this for a majority of this past winter and it's still kind of growing. The newer leaves always come, for a majority of plants, always come in a lighter color. So this lighter color are the new leaves. This kind of more established green is the more established leaf. But this is how much is done just in the winter season. We're just upon what, March now. We're going into spring right now, and this is kind of all it's gotta gone through. Now you'll see some yellowing leaves at the bottom. These are the older leaves. With any plant, if you see yellowing leaves, do not get scared, especially if it's at the bottom with the kind of older leaves. That's what happens with older leaves. They yellow, and sometimes the natural progression of life is that they fall off. But if your plant is actually growing too, so it's actually growing and it has some yellow at the bottom, the sun is taking all its efforts to kind of grow this, that is kind of not using its efforts on this, unfortunately. So unfortunately this will eventually fall off, but new life is coming out of it. So ZZ plant, hard to kill. Now again, any plant, I think anybody could say, hey, I've actually killed it, but this is going to be hard pressed. You do not have to water it that often as well. It's a 3-week. They likes to run dry. Some plants like to dry out. I think that's the beginner tip that I'll give most people. Most people want to water their plants all the time. Most people want to repot their plants all the time. As you can see, this plant is actually repotted, but a lot of my plants that I've actually shown you today are not repotted. They're in their nursery pot. Please, please, please do not immediately get a plant and think you need to repot. I have a lot of friends who say, I need to repot, I need to repot. No, you do not. It can be okay in its pot. The thing about this plant is it was growing out of its original pot, so I had to give it a new upgrade, blow it up a little bit. ZZs grow pretty fast too, so it is going to be probably a plant that you're going to have to repot every single year. But again, it's a beautiful, easy to grow plant, and it's so cute. My next favorite, I guess, easy to grow plant is this English ivy. Again, one of the first plants I bought. I think I bought it at the same time I bought my snake plant. English ivy, so easy to grow. I mean, you can see ivy growing outside at many times of year. I've seen it in the fall, seen it in the winter grow. English ivy kind of grows at that same pace. It's a fast growing kind of vibe. I've actually had to trim it back a little bit. It sits on top of my fridge near a kind of an east facing window. I've had to trim it down a little bit just because it does grow pretty fast. But as you can see, it has a beautiful variegation on the leaves, and I think that's what draws me to it. I don't have that many English ivies. It's not a plant that I've grown multiple of because again, it is a plant that grows fast and it will take over. And again, I only have like a 1,000 square foot apartment, so I cannot have a whole jungle in here, although I do have pretty much a jungle in here. But the thing I'll say, it does require a little bit more watering than the other plants that I listed, the ZZ and the snake. You have to water this a little bit more occasionally. I also like to give it a good mist. It doesn't mind a little bit of humidity, so that's what I kind of like to do. I kind of like to dust the leaves as well because dusting the leaves helps it grow even more and even faster. So I just did a little cleaning of the leaves recently so that sun can kind of touch the leaves. And yes, it's just such an easy plant. I think if you want kind of a little something in your home, and again, this looks artificial. A lot of my plants look artificial. You guys see them on IG and you're like, oh, where'd you get your fake plant from? And I'm like, no plant in my house is fake now. Every plant is real, just because it's so easy to care for a lot of these plants. Now the next plant that I'll go into is kind of my succulent plants. Succulents, they're not automatically easy. I think that's what people see a succulent and think, oh, it's so easy. Look at it. A cactus is so easy. I have a friend who posted on Facebook like a month ago, like, I killed a cactus. Houseway. And there's nothing wrong with killing a cactus because succulents can die too. Now the thing about succulents is they love sun. Succulents love sun, and I think because they are hard to kill plants, a lot of times people think they can put them in their low light situations, and it's not the case. This plant right here really loves sun, and it's kind of grown a lot for me. This is a lot of the new growth in the center for me with it being exposed to the sun. But a lot of plants hit the succulent kind of category. Now, succulents are very, you know, high light, whereas the snake plant, ZZ, are very low light. They can grow in your shaded area. English ivies, they can tolerate some shade, but I keep mine in kind of a part sun, part shade type of scenario. This is going to be that bright sun. These are going to need to be in your sunnier spots, your east facing windows type of a vibe, your south facing windows. I never mentioned south facing because I unfortunately don't have south facing windows, but south facing is one of the best ways to kind of get a lot of sun into your plants. Succulents also have a lot of varieties. Now, this donkey's tail is one of my favorite plants. It's my favorite plant that I have, but it is a succulent as well. It grows very slow, so I haven't seen a lot of growth from this succulent, but it's a succulent as well. Don't have to water it that much, probably about once a month for that one. And if you saw a little sticker at the bottom of that plant, I like to keep sometimes the stickers that come from the store so I can remember. That is a once a month watering situation. Same thing goes here. Once a month, maybe once every 3 weeks with this burrow tail, donkey's tail. I've heard it called so many different things. I call it a donkey's tail. I love this plant. You also have your jade plants. Mine is very top heavy, so I put some rocks in the bottom of it. It still leans back because it's very top heavy at the top, but I have had a lot of new growth at the top. When I first got it, almost all of these little things just fell off, and I was so sad, but it's grown a little bit, and it'll grow a lot more this spring. And then the succulent that pretty much a lot of people know, and like I mentioned, the lady in front of me at Walmart was buying, is an aloe plant. Again, likes a lot of sun, doesn't mind being dry. You do not have to water this plant one every 3 days. You do not have to do that. This is not a 3-dayer. This is maybe a 2 to 3 weeker that you can kind of water. And I don't like to give exact watering conditions just because people's houses are different. The warmth in their house is different where they live. If you live in a Florida versus a New York, your humidity levels are a little bit different. Your kind of lifestyle, the air outside is a lot different. So again, I don't like to say, hey, you're gonna water once a week or 3 times a week or whatever the case may be, because it varies for people's homes and how those things change. I love me my good aloe plants and succulents. You just gotta be aware that they love being in front of the sun. And then my last beginner friendly house plant is just this Petunia. Now, I know for a lot of people, they're like, beginner friendly? No. Petunias are finicky, and they are very finicky, but for me, for some reason, they are my hard to kill, very much durable, persistent plant. Now, the thing about Petunias is they do the Petunia faint if you do not water them in time. Now, what the Petunia faint is, how it looks all perky right now, it will cascade down. It will go zoop, and the life will be sucked out of this plant. I don't want to do it to one of my plants, but I'll just insert a picture right now if in the time of me, you know, filming this video, one of my plants faints. So you can kind of see what that Petunia faint looks like. This plant has fainted before, and I thought I killed it. I immediately was like, oh my God, I'll give it some water, and if it's still dead in the morning, I'll just have to throw it away. I made a mistake. Oh no. As soon as I gave it some water, it went zoop back up. The thing about this plant is I like that it tells you when it needs the water, it needs the nourishment, and it's just a pretty plant to have in your home. I have so many varieties of Petunia. Now, the first one I just showed you I got from a nursery, but this one I got from a Lowe's, and I love it, as well as for any of my viewers out there who may be AKAs, they do have a pink and green kind of variation for you guys out there. I keep this one on my living room table. I do mist this probably daily, so if I get up in the morning and you know, before I go to work, I'll kind of mist it with a little mister. Very good coffee table, dining room table. It can tolerate a lot of low light, shaded type situations. So I have different ones in different situations. The first one I showed you is in kind of a west facing window. This is kind of in my kitchen. This is in a west facing window, but a chair is blocking it. Again, not a lot of people's beginner favorites, but I've never had a hard time with Petunias. I think Petunias are very much so fun plants to have in your home. They're colorful, they add that color, while at the same time they're hard to kill. Now, the one thing I will say is they require a lot of water in the summertime months. In the summertime months, they require so much water. It is not even funny. Like, it's to the point where I traveled a lot during the fall season for recruiting, of course. It was still very warm here in the fall. I would leave on a Monday. I would make sure I watered this bad boy because I knew it would hit that faint. If I did not, I would literally come back on Thursday, it would have fainted. It will have fainted. So if you're somebody who does a lot of traveling or somebody who just forgets to water, I would not recommend this plant, because in the summertime months, this plant is going to need watering at least twice, maybe even 3 times a week. Whereas in the wintertime, it's a little bit better. Like, for example, my wintertime travels, I could come back and the plant would still be lively, and I still have 2 more days before I would need to water it. If I left on a Monday, come back on a Thursday, I could still probably wait till Saturday to water it again. In the summertime, baby. Again, those have been my top beginner friendly, hard to kill kind of plants that I feel like anybody who's getting started into houseplants can really grab hold of and kind of thrive on. Now, these aren't necessarily my favorites. Now, having a favorite plant is a little different than having a hard to kill. Some of my favorite plants, like Monstera deliciosa, isn't a hard to kill plant. It can be killed. Now, if you guys want to see my favorite plants, please let me know down below and I can definitely film that for you. There are 2 plants that I did not mention on this list just because they are beginner friendly, but I don't have them. Spider plants, huge beginner friendly plants, definitely beginner friendly, and peace lilies, very beginner friendly. I don't have any peace lilies because to me, I always think of funerals. I think growing up as a kid, I would always see peace lilies at somebody's house after somebody passed, so I think I just always have had kind of a weird feeling about peace lilies as I've grown up. Just a me thing, but they are so easy to care for. And spider plants, they just grow and grow and grow, kind of like English ivy do, but they are indestructible plants. If you want to see any other plant related content from me, how I care for things, what my favorites are, some of my tools that I use, how often I water, all those type of things, just give this video a big thumbs up. Again, I'm passionate about plants. If you guys wouldn't know it because all I talk about is hair on here, but I do have a passion for plants and I would love to bring you guys more content. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of this good content I make for you. If you guys want to see me in real time, follow me on Instagram at LeahLawan89 so you can keep up with my shenanigans in real time, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
It's a bad man thing, yeah, yeah.